You know, I've always wanted to have a good look at a Constellation Andromeda. Just wait a few seconds for him to make it to the cockpit, and now. Oh crap, that's the engine starting. Get on, get on, get on, get on, get on. I almost thought I was going to fall out the side then. And I don't think he knows I'm here. Let's head down the back for a little bit first. G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to Star Citizen with Mags, and welcome aboard the Constellation Andromeda. This is a very, very recent acquisition of mine, so recent in fact that I haven't actually flown it yet, so let's take a look. And holy, look at that HUD.
Standby, scanning.
I should really get... Ooh, Jesus, get my mouse in the right position here. I should probably get this thing out of the area, I think would probably be a really good idea. So, anyway, the Constellation Andromeda. The Constellations were one of the first multi-crew ships added to Star Citizen, and I believe currently they're also the largest. They're in fact so large that you cannot utilize all of the capabilities of a Constellation without having multiple crew members on board to man multiple positions through the ship. There are actually 4 variants of the Constellation in Star Citizen. The Andromeda is a multifunction variant. It can do a little bit of everything, as the name would suggest. There's the Taurus, which is a transport version, the Aquila, which is designed for exploration. It actually has a different design cockpit, I believe. I haven't had a good look at one of those before, but I'm hoping to in the future.
Engaging landing mode.
Oops, wrong button.
Engaging weapons mode.
That's better. And the last version of the Constellation is the Phoenix, which is the luxury version, I believe. It's got a really nice white finish with black markings, and it's all, you know, pristine wood and leather and nice stuff inside. I'm actually not entirely sure what the functionality for something like the Phoenix would actually be, but I'm sure there is going to be something inside of Star Citizen, and if not, well, it's definitely going to be carrying bragging rights. So we're just heading out to a station here where I can land and take a look at the ship. I think it's probably not a great idea to go back to Port Alice quite yet. Big shout out to Faceless Games for his donation of the Constellation Andromeda. If you watch this video, mate, hit me up with a friend's invite in-game, otherwise I'll do the same to you next time I'm on, and I'll throw you the keys to my Vanguard for you to check out, if you don't already have it, of course.
What can we do for you today?
Well, a place to land would be nice.
Our systems indicate your ship suffered some minor damage. Would you like us to repair it?
I don't think it needs a repair, but a cleaning crew in the cockpit may not be such a bad idea. Alright, first impressions of the Constellation. It is big and bulky, but it is far more maneuverable than I was actually expecting it to be. This could actually be a little bit of a problem. This ship is huge, but it feels like I could really throw it around if I needed to. Which means I'm likely to slam it into a station if I'm not very, very, very careful. Just being really gentle on thrusters here at the moment. I just don't know how hard I can actually push this thing. And this really isn't a good landing port to actually park this thing on at the moment because it's in the dark. I'm not going to get a good look at the ship, but that's alright. We'll have a look through the inside and I'll do what I can on the outside.
Deployed. Landing complete.
It was probably a bit rougher than I could have been. Oh, anyways. So let's hop up and take a little bit of a look around the Constellation. Okay, so standing up from the chair, the first thing you'll notice is the large pit directly in front of us here at the moment. That is actually access to the lower turret, I believe. To the front of the ship we have the 3 command chairs. The central chair is obviously the captain's seat, where the pilot, commander, owner of the vessel will actually take control of it. I am not entirely sure what the left and right positions would actually do. It's pretty clear that you can jump into them. The use icon's available for all of them, and I love the design of this chair. I actually want to get something that looks identical to that and use that as part of a sim pit. That's a really nice looking chair. Anyways, I'm not entirely sure what the functionality of the other 2 would be, other than having somebody else sitting up front, unless you can man weapon systems from them. But I would need multiple crew members to find that out, and I didn't bring anyone on in this little acquisition today. I tell you what, I am impressed with the detailing inside this ship. We've got the shield generators on this side, avionics to the right. Alright, so here is obviously the crew quarters. We've got a whole bunch of lockers for crew storage. We have a seat. Can we use the seat? We can use the seat. Hang on a second, where'd that go? There it is. Come on, activate. There we go. Alright, so we have some just crew sitting positions. It looks like there's a table mounted in the floor. I don't see an icon to actually bring that one up, but that's probably going to be something that will actually work at some time. Airlock in the... Is that an airlock? That is an airlock. Airlock in the floor, in the middle of the crew quarters. Okay, that's interesting. Just standing back up again, we'll move back down. We have the crew cabin. 1, 2, and we should have 2 more. Yep, 1 there, and we'll have 1 above. So we have sleeping arrangements for 4 crew members on board. This is probably the worst walkthrough of a Constellation on the internet. Apologies for that. I have never been on one of these before today, funnily enough. So this is obviously the cargo hold. We have an airlock down the right-hand side, and it works from the looks. We won't use that for the moment. We don't need to. So cargo and storage, more avionics. How much space for avionics does this thing actually need? What's down this side? Shield generators, high voltage. Okay, so that's where the shield generators are. I wonder if they'll actually model these areas as being hitboxes for various systems on board. Gravity generator and power plant. That looks like some kind of airlock in the floor there as well. High voltage to the left hand side, and here is the docking port for the snub fighter. At least I assume that's a snub fighter. We can't really see a whole lot of it. Can we open it? Yep, we can open it. Oh, I wonder if we can deploy this. Nice cockpit, and nothing's powering up. So obviously the snub fighter can't be deployed at this time. That's a shame. I would have liked to drop this out and go for a zip around in it and redock it if it was possible. We'd like to see the dash lit up in this thing, actually. It's just a nice single panel, and I like the bar for the cockpit seal. It's actually kind of nice. Anyways, we'll hop back out of this one, and we'll go for a wander outside the ship. So, once again, back to the side airlock, and we'll see whether or not this works, and we appear to pass straight through it. And it doesn't look like it actually opens. So, obviously the inner airlock is modelled, but the outer airlock isn't yet. That's alright. I did do a little checking on this thing in one of the little cuts that I did there before, and it does look like it's still having some of its systems modelled. So it's flyable, but it isn't finished yet. And just look at the size of it up close. This thing is massive. Looks really good too. Really like to get some more light through here. And this is the underside turret. This is accessible from inside of the cockpit. Actually, I should have jumped into that and actually had a look while we were inside. Large cockpit, great visibility, all glass, 4 big engine nacelles. I love these X-style designs with the engine nacelles. They look fantastic. And the snub fighter bay should be down the back underneath the nacelles. However, I don't believe anything's visible from the outside. So yes, I don't really think there's a whole lot else about this ship to take a look at this time. Most of its functionality, as I said earlier on, is designed for multi-crews. So you really need 3 to 4 people available to fully utilize this ship. Apparently they are incredibly powerful when you have 4 people on board working together, but I'm just one person. I can't man all the positions simultaneously. Having a close look at it, however, I really am sold on actually trying to get one of these at some point. The only problem with the Constellation, and the reason why it's a little bit of a, well, not so much of a unique ship, but a bit of a status ship, is because these are not cheap to get. The Constellation Andromeda comes in at a cool $225 US in order to pick up if you want access to it now. However, do keep in mind that that is only for access during the alpha and for some of the insurance options and other things that come with it for the pre-purchase. Once Star Citizen's MMOverse goes live, the Constellation, along with every single other ship in the game, will be purchasable in-game for in-game currency. So there's absolutely no reason why you can't get this exact ship for absolutely nothing outside of your time to earn the credits to purchase one once the game goes live. Purchasing this one now is more of an enthusiast thing and for those who want to support the development of Star Citizen. Of course, that does mean that I just did steal somebody's $225 Starship. And honestly, I do actually feel a little bit bad about that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into the cockpit and we are going to shoot this thing back to Port Olisar, and I'm going to hand it off back to the original owner. Thankfully, Port Olisar is a no-fire zone, which is why I had to wait to acquire the vessel when I originally acquired it, so we were out of the no-fire area. So if I return it to him back at the station, he can't shoot me. Alright, so let's see if we can take this thing off without smashing it into the station. God, it's got a long startup time on this.
Landing gear raised.
And yes, this is for a ship this size, this is nowhere near as difficult as I would be expecting something this size to actually fly. That was really easy and really gentle to take off. God, the cockpit looks fantastic. I cannot wait for Track IR support to be working on this just so I can turn my head around. Actually, I take that back. I can't wait until VR support is available because this is going to look fantastic. I really hope Star VR is operating by the time this game goes live, because that 210 degrees field of view that it has, I want that. I need that in my life. Anyways, so the next time I put a Constellation on the channel, I think I might actually speak to somebody about jumping in theirs, and we'll see whether or not we can get some multi-crew up, because I'd really like a look at the multi-crew functionality of this ship. I just can't do it alone. And yeah, I don't think I'll be doing this whole aggressively borrowing other people's vessels again. I'm not a very good pilot. I feel guilty. But here we are, back at Port Olisar. Now, I don't see him with any ships out at the moment. We've got one taking off, and we look like we've got one parked on the pad ready to take off.
Engaging landing mode.
Now, I want to be really gentle about this because it would be a real shame to bring his nice starship back to the station and then crash it into the pad and destroy it. If it's anything like the Vanguard, it can actually be very, very, very fragile when it comes to actually striking something. Incredibly powerful shields, but it just can't take a direct impact to save its life. I'm going to have to put that up on the channel, by the way. I was going to do that today, and then the opportunity to have a brief look at the Andromeda came up, and I decided that maybe not to jump in my Vanguard, so it's probably despawned.
Radar contact. Standby. Scanning.
I can't see it on any of the pads, so yeah, I assume it's been despawned.
Radar contact. Standby. Scanning.
Incidentally, I don't believe you can actually take somebody's ship when they've freshly spawned it in, unless they've already been on board it. It's locked until they open the door, which is how I know the Vanguard must have been despawned and was not in fact taken by somebody else.
Landing gear deployed.
And
Landing complete.
yeah, I'm really going to have to bind thrusters to my joystick axes. That would be much nicer. So anyways, here we are, back at Port Olisar. So, before we hand this ship back over, or if he's not around, let this ship despawn, so it hopefully takes away his respawn timer on the vessel, let's take a quick look at this turret. I've never got in this before. I love the animations in this game for getting in and out of stuff. It is beautiful. Oh, there's the guns dropping down. Twin stick controls. Well, that's really smooth. That's really smooth. Turns fast too. We got a limitation up and a limitation down, so we can't shoot directly below us, but we can get down about probably 50 to 60 degrees down, and it looks like about 40 degrees up, and it turns reasonably fast. This wouldn't actually be bad for tracking targets in a dogfight situation. I quite like that. Yeah, it's making me want one of these more and more and more. I'm definitely going to have to invest in one, definitely at the least when the game goes live. Oh, of course there's an airlock in the floor. The airlock in the floor is the main entrance in and out of the ship. Dumbass. Alright, so there we go. Actually, probably should seal that up first. Where's the box for that? Oh, there it is there. A little closer, and there it is. Alright, so that is the Constellation Andromeda all sealed up. Now, this was not a review, this was not even a first impressions. This was me just having a look around a ship that I haven't seen before and letting you guys come along for the ride. Hope you enjoyed the video, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget to call me a thieving mongrel in the comment section directly below, and I'll catch you all in the verse.